Let's talk about location settings for a Google Ads campaign for a local business. This is true for if you're building a new campaign, but especially true if you've already built and you're spending money on Google Ads. I encourage you to go take a look at the settings that you have for your locations and consider making a change if they're not like how I'm about to show you. This is something I see a lot when I audit campaigns for people. They're using the default question for location settings when they build their campaign and then sort of setting it and forgetting it and not remembering to go back and look or audit this. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to use my Google Ads account today as our example. And I'm here in Clearwater, Florida. So under settings, because this is an existing campaign, you can see it's set to Clearwater, Florida. You can see we've got four options when we're setting up, whether we're building a campaign or auditing something, we've got four options, right? All countries, United States and Canada, United States, or enter another location. And down here in the search field for enter another location, we've got four examples: a county, a city, a region, or a postal code. And that's what most people use is they click the enter another location. And typically a local business, a restaurant, a roofer, a chiropractor, they put in the city that they reside in, maybe a couple others, or they use zip codes. I don't like either one, and I'm going to show you why. So real quick, we're going to click advanced search and do this with your account if that's how you think you have yours set up as well. And you can see it's carved out this really harsh lines, really precise municipal boundaries that's leaving out a lot of areas that I would actually like to advertise in. There shouldn't be gaps, and we shouldn't be cutting neighborhoods in half. So I don't like using this. The same is true for zip code targeting. A little bit more on that later, but I can actually show you if I just put in my zip code real quick, actually, I'll show you and then I'll move Clearwater, Florida. You can see, again, it's really these strict lines and boundaries, and we're excluding very specific houses across the street and in the same neighborhoods. I don't like it. But also Google is imperfect at targeting people by zip code. You will earn fewer impressions when you use zip code targeting. So I'm going to repeat that because it's really, really important. You will receive fewer impressions when you target by zip code. It's because it's just imperfect by nature and it just doesn't work very well. So I like to use radius. So let's remove this real quick. And I'm going to go back and select radius real quick up there at the top and then type in Clearwater again. Now it defaults to a 20-mile radius, which is another mistake I see when people do use radius targeting is they keep that default on. I know that down here in St. Petersburg and over here in downtown Tampa, this is oftentimes an hour away depending on traffic, and people for local services or local businesses aren't going to make that type of commute. And with paid traffic, we don't want to spend our money like that. It's one thing to earn those clicks and impressions organically. That's awesome. But when it comes to paid traffic, we want high intent. And with high intent, we want to shrink that radius and really try to own our backyard first. We can always expand in the future. We can always add other campaigns and geographies in the future, but let's get success in our neighborhood first, all right, in our neck of the woods. So I'm going to shrink this down to a 10-mile radius. I know my area really well, and I suspect that you guys know yours. And I know that 10 miles is a really, really good chunk of real estate. Lots of single family homes here. This is perfect. It's not too far. End to end, we're looking at maybe 25 minutes. It's really a perfect PMA for a local business here in Clearwater. I also know there's an area right north of me, Tarpon Springs, that's actually only an additional 5 minutes away. It's really not bad. And I'm going to go in here and add that. I'm going to shrink that down to a 5-mile radius. And it's going to look something like this. This is a great area for me to advertise in. I know the area well. I can control my cost another way, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So review your location settings, find out how you have it set up, understand that the zip code is at the bottom of effectiveness, and then it goes to maybe municipal targeting, and then at the very top, radius targeting works the best. So controlling cost. I can actually make bid adjustments on these two radiuses I've selected here. I'm going to hit save and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And then we'll X out of here. On the left-hand side of Google Ads menu bar, we're going to go over to audiences, keywords, and content and scroll down and find your locations. And you can see my 5 and 10-mile radiuses are in Tarpon Springs and Clearwater. Now I already have bid adjustments in place, so we can pretend like they're not there. I'm still going to explain what they mean, what they are. So over here on the right-hand side, there's a column for bid adjustments. And I am telling Google here, I am willing to spend money in Tarpon Springs, but only bid 90% for what the auctions are going for. Basically, I'll take what I can get. I don't want to spend too much. It's not my primary market area. Clearwater, however, is, and in fact, I am willing to bid 35% more so that I can really own this traffic in this small geography. I want to show up prevalently. I'm willing to spend to be at the top of the page, so I'm going to put a 35% bid adjustment. So what's interesting after you've run ads for a while is to come back and look at the data, look at the clicks, look at the average cost per click in these areas, look at the conversions and the conversion rates, and see how those two geographical areas you used, or three or four, however many you have used. You might just have one. Again, depending on where you are in the population density, you don't need to have multiple radiuses around certain areas. I only added an extra one so I could show you how you could use these positive and negative bid adjustments. So happy hunting out there. Go look at your location settings in Google Ads. I strongly encourage you to switch to radius. Use small radiuses at first. You can always scale and expand in the future. Start small, own your backyard, make bid adjustments, and leave comments and questions down below for me. Thanks, guys.